My name is Kasia Chmielinski. I'm a technologist, and I am affiliated with Stanford University, Harvard, and I work on the data nutrition project. My work really stems from almost 20 years of building systems. So I was a product manager in industry. I worked at a number of big corporations and startups, including Google, Zest AI. I worked at MIT and the government as well. And after building systems for so long, I started to think about how we can build better technology for more people. And that led to the creation of the Data Nutrition Project, which is a nonprofit organization that looks at data transparency through better dataset standards. So what we do is we build nutrition labels like you have for food, but for data sets. With the idea being that if you knew more about the data before you used it, you could make better choices about how and whether to use the data, especially for AI. When I think about the problems that we're currently facing in the field, obviously technology is just a tool, and it is available for us to use in a variety of contexts, in a variety of ways, some of which are quite beneficial to humanity, and others of which are more risky or harmful. The real issue, though, is that we have a lack of transparency into how the technology is made and who's behind it, the way that it's trained, the way that it's deployed and updated and maintained. And without transparency into the technology, especially this proprietary information, proprietary AI, proprietary data sets that really power a lot of the consumer technology that we work with every day, without transparency into that, there's really no way of knowing what's under the hood, which means that we can't understand how the technology might be harming communities or whether it's harming communities, and there's really no recourse. So there's also very little regulation and very little policy to control the use and the deployment of AI. So when I think about the problems that we're facing, I'm actually a very optimistic person, and I have a lot of hope for the future as well. I think there are many things that we can do to address these questions, and they're at all levels. So, at a very high level, I do think we need some kind of structure, regulation, policy to think about how these AI tools in particular are developed and launched. But regulation is often quite reactive, and so that's a very top down solution that is coming. It's coming in a way that is very fractionalized across the world, so it's very region specific. I think that at the organization level, we need to empower people inside of organizations to think about how they might want to build and deploy better technology. And so it's very hard to be one product manager or one engineer in a giant corporation and make some kind of real lasting change. What you need is leadership to agree with the vision, to buy into this, to change the way that we build the technology, the metrics that we track success by. And so that happens kind of at the tools and the organization level. And then one level below that is actually very hands-on. It's standards, it's packages, it's code that's shared, open source, kind of on the ground tools and approaches that need to be built and socialized more broadly, I think, among practitioners themselves. So I do think that there are these multiple levels at which we can start to address some of these issues. And the final one that I'll mention is really a cultural change. So if you think about the way that we build code today, there are a number of practices that we employ that grew up from within the community. So things like testing, things like code reviews, comments in the code, these types of things, they kind of slow down development, but they make for a better end product. We need the same kinds of cultural changes when it comes to building and deploying AI and very complex machine learning systems.